The father was forever immortalized on the silver screen, but for the son, his fame began with murder. Number 19, the case of Christian Brando. Christian Brando, son of movie legend Marlon Brando, barely knew his famous father. The boy was shuttled between his bickering parents until the age of 13, when Marlon won sole custody.
Being the son of Marlon Brando was never going to be easy, and being the daughter of Marlon Brando was not going to be easy either.
Christian Brando wanted to give his younger sister, Cheyenne, the protection and love that he never had.
They were probably the closest of his sisters and brothers. They had something special.
On May 16, 1990, Christian and Cheyenne had dinner in Hollywood. Cheyenne told her brother that Dag Drolet, the father of her unborn child, hit her.
I do believe that she manipulated her brother, and to say things like Dag was abusive to me, Dag hit me, and it just escalated.
He thought he had to protect Cheyenne, I think. The anger went right through his mind.
Christian had been drinking, and according to Cheyenne's statement, her brother was looking for a fight.
When Christian drank, he loses his temper. He's got a very bad temper.
I wanted to bust him in the chops. I wanted to knock him out.
Okay, what was the reason that you want to do that?
Because he beat up our little sister, but she's 4 months pregnant.
He then went over to a house he was living in with his girlfriend in Hollywood, got a gun, went up to the Brando place where Dag Drolet was staying with Cheyenne Brando.
Christian arrived at Marlon's house in the Hollywood Hills and had a brief conversation with his father.
I want to know what she said and what he said. Believe me, Pop, you don't want to know. And he got up and left the room.
Christian went to the living room to speak to Dag. Cheyenne told police she saw Christian holding a gun, but she assumed the men were just playing and left them alone. Moments later, she heard a shot. Marlon ran to the room and found a terrifying scene.
I saw Dag lying there. And I tried to get hold of myself. And I felt his pulse on his neck. He still had a pulse. And I breathed into his mouth. And I called 911.
The bullet entered Drolet's left cheek and exited through the back of his head near the base of his neck. According to police, Christian immediately confessed to killing Dag Drolet, a man he had met for the first time only hours before.
It was a brother with a gun, and it wasn't my hand, and it didn't go off. It was not an intentional thing.
But police investigators maintain that the position of Dag's lifeless body painted a different picture.
He was found slumped with his head back on the sofa. In his hands were a TV changer, some cigarette papers, and a bag of tobacco and a lighter. All these were clasped in his hands, and this indicated to us that there had been absolutely no struggle.
I didn't want to kill him. Because I believe in police. No way. I wouldn't do that. I got too much to lose.
Dag Drolet was never given any attempt to defend himself. Someone marched in, leaned over, and fired a gun through his face.
At trial, the presence of Marlon Brando caused a media frenzy.
Marlon tried to change the focus of the case from Christian to him.
In the end, Christian took responsibility for what happened that night. He pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter.
I am at fault with this. If I could trade places with Dag, I would right now.
Christian Brando was sentenced to 10 years in prison for manslaughter. Christian was later paroled after serving only 5 years. Cheyenne lost custody of her infant son to Dag Drolet's parents. On April 17, 1995, she committed suicide. Marlon Brando died on July 1, 2004. He was 80 years old. On January 26, 2008, Christian Brando died in a Los Angeles hospital while being treated for pneumonia. Christian Brando was 49.